Five Nights at Freddy's is soon to enter its 10th year, marking a full decade of FNAF. If you've been a fan since the beginning like I have, you undoubtedly know how many holes and questions Scott leaves along the way. One of those questions has stuck with me, and I finally think I know the answer. As the FNAF games have come out, it seems like each one brings a new twist on the formula. FNAF 2 introduced the Freddy mask that you use to hide from the animatronics. FNAF 3 brought in the phantoms in the vent system. FNAF 4 got rid of the security cameras altogether, and Sister Location changed things completely. Gone were the 5 nights of the same gameplay, escalating in difficulty as the week progressed. Now, we find ourselves in Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. We are greeted with our first ever voice-acted lines in the form of HandUnit, a computer system programmed to help us through our work week and train us on the various tasks we need to complete in order to do our job. Everything seems to be going normal until we enter the circus gallery for the second time, and we have our first conversation with Circus Baby. She tells us,
"There is a space under the desk. Someone before you crafted it into a hiding place, and it worked for him."
In this conversation, we learn that Baby is sentient enough to communicate. Sentient enough to give us the instructions that save our character's life in that moment. If we had not been told to hide, we would have been killed by the Biddy Babs, and the story would have ended there. Once the Biddy Babs have been fended off, though, Baby then says,
"When your guide comes back online, he is going to tell you that he was unsuccessful, that you must restart the system manually. He will then tell you to crawl through Ballora Gallery as fast as you can to reach the breaker room. If you follow his instructions, you will die."
And, just as she promised, HandUnit comes back online and tells us exactly that.
It seems that the power system cannot be restarted automatically. You will need to restart the power system manually. Please return to the primary control module. You will now be required to crawl through the Ballora Gallery using the vent to your left to reach the breaker room. It is recommended that you stay low to the ground and reach the other side as fast as possible as to not disturb Ballora.
What HandUnit tells us completely contradicts what Baby tells us. But why? If we are sent to this location by William Afton, our player character's father, why would HandUnit tell us instructions that will get us killed? Why does HandUnit lie to us? This is a question that's bothered me for quite some time, but I think I have finally figured it out. We know from the schematics found in the Insanity ending of Pizzeria Sim that the scoop from Sister Location's titular scooping room has a remnant injector and a reservoir. We don't, however, see a remnant extractor, but we can assume that it is somewhere in the facility, or Afton would have no way of collecting remnant from the animatronics once they return from their rentals. I believe that in addition to that remnant gathered through the rental process, Afton is using the role that the player character fills as another source. I was going to call them a security guard, but they're not actually guarding anything. While HandUnit does mention the ways that we could have gotten the job, he doesn't ever mention what our actual title is. I'm going to call the role the security guard for simplicity's sake, because saying the role that you play as in the game, but not the character you play as, just the person who has that role for a job that we don't have a title for, is a little cumbersome. So the typical security guard for this role would follow HandUnit's instructions, as Baby would have no reason to intervene like she does for us. She mentions that the last guard was able to defend himself by hiding under the desk, so she tells us to do the same. This means that at least one guard before us has made it to at least night 2. But we can assume that this is not typical, given that she only mentions one person having done this in the past. We can assume that the guards before us succumbed to the Biddy Babs, and during their death, have that remnant extracted. We know that Afton is using the Fun Times and the Sister Location bunker in order to do experiments, and he needs remnant for those experiments. What better way to get a consistent stream of remnant than from down on their luck security guards who will take any job they can get? I think that HandUnit lies to us for the express purpose of killing you to contribute to that stream. William Afton is the one who programmed HandUnit. He knows what those animatronics are capable of, because he built them. He knows that telling the guards to sprint through the Ballora gallery will get them killed. It is the planned outcome. So why then would Afton tell his son, Michael, the character we play as, to go down to the bunker without warning of what's to come? Or having changed HandUnit to give the actual directions needed to do the job. We know William was the one who sent Michael down to the bunker through the cutscene at the end of Sister Location's custom meeting.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be.
William sends us down here directly. Is his plan to kill us like every other guard? I don't think so. I think that William left behind instructions for Michael, in case something happened to him, like MatPat mentions in his FNAF timeline. How else would he have been able to communicate with his son after having been spring-locked? It's not like he has cell service in there. I think William being trapped is the exact reason HandUnit tries to get us killed. William didn't have a chance to change his programming or set him into some kind of safe mode. It's Circus Baby, Elizabeth Afton, Michael's sister, who guides us along the path to stay alive. Well, alive long enough for her to use us for her own plans. She is the one who tells us the correct way to handle Ballora and how to survive the encounter with the Biddy-Babs. She doesn't recognize us as her brother, though. Her and the other animatronics actually think that we're William.
They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you.
Circus Baby helps keep us alive because she sees potential in us. She thinks that she can use us to finally enact her escape plan. Because HandUnit sent security guards to her gallery in the past, she had the chance to assess them and wait for someone to come through that would work for what her and the others had planned. After the second night, HandUnit does not tell us to do anything that would put us directly in harm's way. Well, nothing that isn't necessary to the job. I think this was William's way of filtering the security guards. If every security guard that he hired died in the bunker, people would start to get suspicious. So if they were cunning enough to make it past the Biddy-Babs and Ballora, they were allowed to continue their job as it's written on paper. This in no way means that every guard that survived that second night continued to survive. The job itself is dangerous. Doing maintenance on Funtime Freddy is always one wrong move away from death. But that is not HandUnit's fault. That is just the nature of the work that needs to be done. But for those lucky few who make it to the end of the week, they get to spend their weekend on Indeed looking for a new job. I can't imagine anyone staying in this job after seeing how dangerous it can be, which still isn't the best optics for the job, but is better than having a board on the wall that says 0 days since last security guard's horrific murder. In the end, I don't think that HandUnit was lying to us specifically. I think that he was following the programming given to him by William Afton. A programming that was meant to get the unluckiest of the new hires to meet their untimely death, further stalking his source of remnant and letting him continue his experiments into unlocking the secrets of everlasting life. What mysteries from FNAF's decade-long history have been bothering you? Let me know in the comments and maybe I'll look into help get you an answer. Thanks for watching.